Welcome to another episode of the Utah Player Podcast presented by Fan Nation All Utes. My name is Cole Bagley. I'm the publisher of the Fan Nation All Utes webpage and the co-host for this episode. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Utah freshman and defensive end Chase Kennedy. Chase, how's it going, man?
Going great, just chilling right now at the dorms.
Awesome. Being in the dorms, you made any good memories so far? Any good stories or fun stories to report about your time so far in the dorms?
Honestly, there's been a lot. There's been a lot with just Jalen, Brandon, Teo, Chris, Sid, Scoob, Metlock. We just have fun.
Who's your roommate right now?
Right now, I'm with Justin B. Rose.
Nice. A lot of big names that you just mentioned. The special freshman class that you're a part of. So before we get into it, before we kind of let the fans know a little bit more about you and who you are, who's the biggest goofball of this class of 2022?
Biggest goof? Oh, it's got to be Scoob, Elijah Davis.
And why is that? What's he do that earns him the that title?
Scoob would just be like quiet, and then out of nowhere, he'll say something that's just the funniest thing. Everybody's gonna laugh. Scoob just funny dude overall. Like he probably one of the funniest people on the team. He doesn't know how to make everybody laugh.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard a lot of good things about him and as well. Everybody else. Okay, who has like the most swag? Who is it like, okay, like this guy knows how to like dress or whatever, he's got the best drip, like who has the most swag of that group?
That's definitely me.
Okay, I guess I should have said second place, right? Of course you're gonna say
place. Okay. Teo think it's him.
Sid think, Teo.
I think Sid knows it's not him because Sid be wearing two little shirts all the time. But if I were to give it to second place, I'll give it to Jalen.
Okay, Jalen. Yeah, I can see that. See that. Jalen's
on game days. Him and Chris put it on. They put it on game days. I'll give him that.
Tell us a little bit more about Chris Reed. He a couple weeks ago, I think it was against ASU, he posted a photo and called himself like the Juice Box Crew or something like that. Just because, yeah, he's a freshman. He's not getting a ton of reps yet. That's pretty normal. But he called himself the Juice Box Crew. What's Chris Reed like?
Chris is another one of those Florida dudes who's just funny. He's a goofball too. But Chris is special. Football, like Chris is really good. I seen him do some things in practice. I'm just like, wow. But I love Chris. He's just a funny guy to be around. Always gonna laugh. He's competitive, everything he does, I'll give him that. Don't talk trash all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's, every name that you bring up, we work with a lot of those guys, and I've seen a lot of those guys play and all those things. The class of 2022, in my opinion, is just one of the best, if not the best class that Utah's ever brought in. Just a diverse group. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, defensive ends, linebackers. Just so many guys out there that can make big plays, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch you guys grow together. And when we get maybe 2-3 years down the line, hopefully not only you guys, dominating the Pac-12, but hopefully contending for a national championship. I'm sure that's the goal. So be fun to watch you guys. But Chase, let's dive in a little bit more. Tell me about yourself. Obviously, like I said, Chase Kennedy here. Defensive end for the University of Utah, freshman. Tell us more about where you're from.
I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised. I was raised by my mom, grandmother, and grandfather. Mom played college basketball. Grandfather played college basketball at TCU. He's in the Hall of Fame up there. And so I just come from a athletic family, really. So it's really just been in my blood, really, to just be an athlete, play sports, and just get it done. But what's something I like to do? Play video games a lot, watch a lot of Netflix. But really, video games with the roommates. If I'm not at the facility or doing football stuff, that's really what I'm doing. So, yeah.
What's your show right now on Netflix? What show are you watching?
Really, I just watch a lot of movies. Like
Okay.
it'll just be like late at night and just watch funny movies. Like last night I watched Wedding Crashers, and
It's a good one.
yeah, tonight I planned on watching. B Rose told me to watch. What is it? The Other Guys. So I'm
Oh
watching.
yeah, with Will Ferrell. That's a good
Mhm.
one, dude. That one's funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll have to catch up and see what you think about that. Maybe down the line we'll be just reviewing movies. Maybe that's what Chase Kennedy's podcast will be all about. Have you seen? So I love to watch like sports documentaries and stuff like that. So like The Last Dance. But have you seen the new one, The Redeem Team, the like
I was
2008?
I was
Bro,
just talking to B about it. I have to watch it because
you
I'm
got to
like
watch
a
it.
huge Kobe Bryant fan.
Oh
That's my
yes,
favorite athlete ever. And so all the stuff I've been hearing about him and the thing, I gotta watch it.
dude. I like almost bought a Kobe jersey after watching it. Like I love Kobe. Like I love the Mamba mentality. I've never owned like I've had Kobe, basketball shoes.
Yeah,
I've never had a Kobe jersey, and then literally like afterwards, I was like, man, I might need a Kobe jersey
not to get
just
one.
because, dude, he's so good. Like and obviously like you just miss that guy. Like
Yeah.
just he was an incredible athlete with incredible mentality and just did so much for not only basketball but just sports in general. So you got that's one you got to watch, and I'll check back in with you about that. But okay, so you're from Texas. You like to watch movies, play video games. When did you first start playing football?
I first started playing football at the age of 4, flag
Okay,
football. Yeah, for the South Dallas Saints. I remember that. Yeah, that
okay,
was my first playing. I played within that organization all the way up until I was in middle school, really.
okay. And when did you make the move to defensive end? Like how long have you like what did you start out playing, and then like when did you move to defensive end?
Really, all my life, I played running back.
Oh,
That was,
really?
yeah, that was my main position, running back, all the way up until 8th grade, and then freshman year I didn't play because I hurt my back or something, and I had a back injury, and so I came back sophomore year. I just didn't want to play running back anymore because I felt I was too big for the offensive
Mm.
side of the ball, and I knew I didn't want to play receiver, and so really the coach gave me this free reign of like what position I want to play, and so I ended up picking defensive end, and from then that's just since sophomore year, defensive end is really just what I've been doing. That's my primary thing.
And why defensive end? Is it did you are you a guy that likes to make tackles? Or are you a guy that, loves to just be kind of brutal and violent and get in the backfield? Is that just kind of why you like defensive end? Or
Really, I just felt like I had the body type for it, like
okay.
with the height, long arms, athleticism, really. And because I don't really know much about the position, really.
Mhm.
And so me picking that was really just based off of my body and how it was built and just running with it.
Yeah. Did you ever consider like tight end or anything?
Never.
Never.
No, I
Gotcha.
knew I wanted to play defense when I got to high school.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your high school career and your recruitment. When did Utah first kind of start coming around and saying, "Hey, Chase, come play for us"?
Well, really, it was after my junior year, after my junior season. So like within my junior year of high school in March was when beginning of March was when I first started talking to Coach Powell. Or really it was Coach Powell DM me on Twitter, asked for my number, my head coach's number. Then a couple of days later he called me and offered me. And so
Wow.
that's really how, because Utah was my very first offer. So that's really how the relationship began with that. Coach
Mhm.
Powell started it, and then later on in recruitment, I met Coach Swan, Shaw, Coach Witt, Scally, and a lot of recruiting interns, assistants, all those people that get the
Mhm.
job done. And yeah, that's really how it was Utah. That's how they came in the picture.
What's it like to be, a kid in high school and all of a sudden you get an offer from a Power Five school? Like, how does that feel, man?
Honestly, it changes. Like You have to carry yourself differently, really. Like compared to your peers on your high school team, you're always in constant uh, competition with yourself. Like whether you want to get better, continue to
Right.
get better, and actually earn, like let people know, like there's a reason why you earn these offers. So really, you just work harder. For me, that's how it was. Just work harder, continue to prove yourself. But no, the people around you, like at school, I would just have little kids because school I went to was like pre-K through 12, and so sometimes I would just have like little fifth graders, sixth graders come up to me, can you sign this, or can I have this or something, and it's just like little stuff like that that is just like really makes you appreciate the moment and
Mm-hmm.
just like give you a reason like why you want to keep doing this, to keep inspiring the little
Mm-hmm.
ones like that, give them a reason to do what they want to do,
Yeah.
like play football or something like that, following your footsteps, just leave a legacy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really how that change is getting those Power Five offers, just mentality change and the way people interact with you change.
Mm-hmm. And so, he gives you the offer. Did you come out and have an official visit that same year or shortly after, or and how
Uh,
was that? Because Utah is very different from Texas,
no,
very different. So tell us about that.
but no, how the official visit came into play was just because I felt as if like they were my first offer, they were gonna get one anyway. But really, they really got it because they had a like ongoing relationship with me within the entire recruiting process, like from the time they offered me up until the time that I signed. They were constantly talking to me, just like showing love all the time. All the coaches calling, checking on my family, grades, all that kind of stuff. And so the official visit came, and they were my first official in September. I got They are my first official in September, like right in the beginning of my senior season. And then later on, I went back during the Colorado game for another one
Okay.
in November.
And that was last year.
Yep.
Gotcha. So what what made you pick Utah? Because you had quite a few offers, some Texas schools and whatnot. Why pick the University of Utah? It's a place that maybe isn't as familiar as some of those other schools.
Well, really, what I was looking for within the program that I was picking was relationship with the coaches,
Mm.
uh, fan base, the environment around the campus, and I felt like Utah checked all three boxes and more. And the one that hit it really was the relationship with the coaching staff, because I felt that was a genuine connection with me and them and also my family. And so when I picked Utah, I told my mom, and she was perfectly fine with it. So only thing she was worried about the distance, but she a mom, so that's just how that is. But once she told me that she was okay with it too, and she liked it and liked the people up there, and she was finally going to Utah, that's what really sealed it for me.
That's awesome, man. It's it's just interesting to hear, you know, how the recruiting process goes for everybody, and it is very everybody's different. Things stand out differently to different players, but one thing I've covered the Utes for 3 years now, and one thing that I've always heard from every single recruit is just that the relationship with the coaches, that seems to be a pretty determining factor. And other things too, but that one I hear like 9 times out of 10. I
Mm,
ask the guy, why are you considering them, or why did you pick them? Well, no, it's always the coaches, and the relationships and how much they care. Whether it is Coach Powell or Coach Shaw or Coach Swan, whoever it is. Like, I just always hear incredible things about the coaches, and so
yeah,
obviously there's a lot of consistency with that, and I don't think that's going to change.
mm,
Witt has built, an incredible program at the University of Utah, and even when he's done, I think it's just going to continue. They're just going to continue to build off the foundation that he set, and so that's awesome to hear, man. The question I wanted to ask is, and we'll get into a little bit more of how things have gone for you now that you're up there. But how, like, as a defensive end, tell us about that position a little bit more. Like, take us through a play, right? So let's say, break, you're going out there, you're lining up. Take us through what's going through your head and how things, what you're looking for and what it's like when the quarterback snaps the football, what takes place as a defensive end from that point.
Mm-hmm. What people don't realize about defensive end is it's not just sacks. Sacks are a big part of the game, like big game changer, but defensive end is not just sacks. We have to be able to play the run as well because, as you know, you're not going to get to the pass if you don't stop the run. And so a normal play defensive end, I'll go say we're in a 5 technique, no tight end. So that's just being outside shade of the tackle. First thing we have to do is if the quarterback has a certain cadence, get like ahead of that cadence, know the cadence. That just comes from watching film, being in game experience with them. So we look at that for the get off, and then once we get off, we're reading to see if the tackle is pass setting or he's trying to reach block, base block, or down block. And if he down blocks, we know to step shuffle, eyes inside, and look for a puller coming back our way. Mm-hmm. If there's no puller, we just be patient, wait for the play to come back. If he reaches or base blocks, we know that's our job to set the edge. And setting the edges is really one of the most important things in college, in football, really, because without an edge set, we know that running back, quarterback is taking it the distance 9 times out of 10. Right. And, we kind of learned that early in the season against Florida. We didn't have an edge set. AR took it for 50. And so setting the edge is really one of the most important things to do. And so we got to be balanced on that. Stiff, know what we're doing, arms extended. And that's on reach base blocks. And then pass set, we're either, if he gives us a vertical set backwards, we're looking at power rush or speed. We're looking at power rush or speed, really. And then it really depends on the tackle you're going against because each tackle set is going to be different. But once we get in that pass, once they get in that pass set, we know how to react with what we've been taught from watching film and going up against them. So really that's it. We're reading tackles, reading the ball and quarterback, and then doing what we go over every day in practice.
How much of what you do doesn't necessarily translate to the stat sheet, right? I feel like when you look at the defense, I feel like the linebackers oftentimes are the ones that their performance translates best to the stat sheet, right? A lot of times they get the most tackles. A lot of times, they have a good balance of pass and rush defense because they get a lot of tackles. Sometimes they get interceptions, those types of things. How much of what you do that is effective, right? Like how much of what you're doing that's effective doesn't show up on the stat sheet?
Yeah, there's a lot because I just thought of a play when Van against Arizona State. A puller comes, he blows up the puller, and because of that, the puller knocks into the running back, and a linebacker comes to make the tackle. Mm-hmm. That's something that does not go on the stat sheet. There's little stuff like that, or getting the pressure to the quarterback and making him throw an erratic pass and then interception. It's just little things like that that are important that'll show up on film, but don't go on a stat sheet. So it's really a lot of plays that DNs make that go I wouldn't say unnoticed, but don't get accounted for in stats.
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. I think, sometimes the game plan might be to simply contain the quarterback, or it might be to get them moving, get them scrambling because that they can't move very fast. And maybe then the linebackers come up and make the tackle, right? Like you were kind of talking about. I think the defensive line doesn't always quite get the love that it should because people don't understand that, hey, like you said, there's a lot more to being a defensive end or even a defensive tackle than just getting a sack. It's stopping because the quarterback can do a lot of things, and a lot of the best quarterbacks these days can run or can pass or can do both, right? So just an interesting to hear your perspective on it. So moving on from that, I just wanted to see like you've now, we're now almost 7 games into the season. I want to hear your take on USC here in a minute, but how have things gone for you here? Your first season at the University of Utah, nearing the midway point of the season.
Honestly, the season for me is going. I've had a great time. It's been great for me just learning, developing every step of the way, and going against the ones every day in practice. Because right now I'm trying to get my weight back up. So I had a little setback with that, trying to get my weight back up to the goal weight that it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm just focusing on that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going against the ones every day, just getting better with that, while also still watching film, taking notes, and making sure I'm on top of the stuff that the defense needs to know.
Mm-hmm.
But the season's been great, just being with the guys, watching them work, and really watching that work from practice translate on the field. That's really the best thing for me. And just like seeing guys grow and make plays and celebrate together, little stuff like that, and then like watching Jalen get in for a touchdown, his 2 touchdowns against Southern Utah. That was probably one of the best moments of the season because, that's my dog. And he got in, and, when Justin got in, that was a hype game for me too, just watching him finally get out there and show what he can do. So, yeah, it's been great though.
It's awesome to hear, man. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of programs and teams out there that would say stuff like that. For you to say like, hey, I'm not getting as many reps, but my dogs, my guys, my friends, my brothers, they are getting reps, and I take joy and excitement, and I'd love to see that, and it's great to hear those types of things. 2 quick questions for you. So first off, how do you how do they have you trying to put weight on? Like, because like I can go out and I can put weight on pretty easy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy, right? I can go gain 25 pounds pretty easy. It just depends on where I eat. But for you, you're being told like you need to put some weight on. How do you do that, and how are they having you do that to make sure that it's like productive weight, right? Like you don't want your belly hanging over your belt, right? Like that's not something that they're asking you to do. How are they asking you to put weight on?
Really, it's just eating more, but also staying active at the same time. So, that's just like they say, right now I'm using creatine, so that's been helping a little bit. That's really been helping a lot because I just started that like last week, and it's already made a big difference. And the development lifts and like the travel lifts. So I'm in the development lifts, and those are just like lifts that are just like gonna get you there, really, like gonna get you bigger, stronger. So that's another way of putting the weight on, like the muscle weight like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, but really it's just been from eating a lot at the facility, getting an extra meal in the morning, just stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting to hear. Like I said, plenty of us know what it takes to gain weight, but as an athlete, when someone tells you to gain weight, it's in a specific way, and it has to happen a specific way so that you can still perform at a high level. So it's just interesting to hear that. The next question, we'll move into the next segment before we ask you some other more fun questions. But it seems to me that you have the mentality and the mindset that you understand and trust the process. You're a freshman, you're not quite getting a lot of reps, but you're okay with that because you understand that your time will come. Your time will be around the corner. You're going to get out there, you're going to make plays, but you trust that the coaches are making the right decisions and that you're developing, you're doing the things that you need to do now to put yourself into a position later to make plays and get reps, which I have full confidence in you to be able to do. But there are guys that doesn't, it's not necessarily this program or this team, but there's guys out there in college that don't agree with that. They come in, and even though they're freshmen, they say, play me now or I'm hitting the transfer portal. As someone that has the the good mentality, how do you stay positive, and what and how why do you have the mentality that you have? Why do you trust the process, and why do you understand what it takes, or how do you understand what it takes already to be great, and to wait until your time has come?
Well, really, I trust it because I trust the coaches, and I feel like they have my best interest, and I feel like they're genuine in what they're saying and what they're doing with me, and I just feel like there's a plan set out, and I just need to get on that journey, just trust it, because I'm not the only one who's coming as a freshman and hasn't
Mhm.
played, so I can't just want to up and leave and assume I'll
Right.
go somewhere else and play. But no, it's really why why does it? I don't know why other people are just like they want to leave, because for me, I understand, like I came in at 215, and I understand, like I can't play defensive end in the Pac-12 at 215 pounds, and
Mhm.
so I need to get up to 235, and I realize like I can't be a light DN in there, because I know once the run comes, I'm gonna have trouble with that. So it's really just about being realistic with myself and
Right.
knowing that I have to do this if I want to get out there. So yeah, it's just stuff that I know that I have to handle, and this stuff I try to take care of. So when that time comes for me to get on the field, I'm ready and I'm locked in. Because like you said earlier, I feel like once the time comes and I do get out there, like it's just gonna be different, and I can be comfortable and just okay at what I need to be. And I just
Yeah.
looking forward to the future, really, of myself, just seeing myself making plays and in there.
Well, it's good to hear that, Chase. And for those listening, you guys should be excited that Chase has that mentality, because I'll tell you what, this kid is the future of Utah's defense. And if you don't believe me, ask Morgan Scalley, ask Lewis Powell, ask Coach Kyle Whittingham. You can read what they've said about him at our websites. Definitely check out those articles about Chase Kennedy, because there's some awesome things that this kid is doing. And there's a lot of promise for Chase. Moving into just kind of our last segment before we have just a little bit of fun and ask some questions. Chase, there's a huge football game going on this week against USC. Just two quick questions. How important, just as a player and what you guys know and understand, how important is it that you guys get a victory this week?
This game is very important for us. We know it. For us, we feel like our back, Coach Wood has said it all week, our backs are against the wall, and we can either cower and sit down, or we can push against the wall and just persevere through what we're doing. Because he said we put ourselves in this position, and we just got to get ourselves out of it, really. So we know it's important. It's really like our Pac-12 championship game on the line, really,
Mm-hmm.
because we can't lose two games in conference and assume that we'll be there. So we all know it's important. We've been practicing throughout the entire week. We prepare every game the same, but we know for this one, it's really a must win, and we definitely have a chip on our shoulder for it.
What's the vibe like with the team right now? I mean, you talked about it a little bit, and obviously, Coach Witt understands. Yeah, you guys, your back is against the wall. You're probably one of four top teams in the conference that can really compete for a title this year amongst UCLA, USC, and Oregon. I think it's you guys, as one of those four teams. You're the only team that's dropped a conference game so far. So what's the vibe been like this week? How locked in is everybody? For tomorrow.
100% locked in. Like we know what we got to go out there and do. We've been practicing like it. Everybody's been locked in, watching film, just getting right, preparing the right way, and we really just been locked in to everything coach has been saying, new plays, new formations, all of that. Scouts been giving a great look on both sides of the ball and special teams. And so really the vibe is just like we're confident. Like, we're not scared of anything or anybody. So we feel like we can go in. And plus we feel like we're at home and we're a different team. We're at home. So I feel like with the fans behind us and what we just went through all week preparing to get to this moment on Saturday, that we're going to be ready to rock and roll, locked in.
Yeah, I think period, man. Enough said. Like let's do this thing.
Yeah.
It's a big game, and for everything you just said, and hopefully you guys do come out on the on the winning side, and there should be confidence that you can. I mean, at home, like you said, Utah's just different, and with the helmets that you guys wearing, the Ty Jordan Aaron Lowe tribute helmets, I know that guys are going to be extra locked in and give that more, 22% more than they normally would. So should be a fun game. Excited to see what happens. Chase, it's been awesome to talk with you, and I just kind of want to do a last little segment, just a little more on the fun side, not quite as serious, just let the fans get to know you a little bit more. But so first off, if you weren't going to play football, what other sport would you play?
Honestly, it would be baseball. I would
Baseball.
want to play baseball. I wish I didn't stop playing baseball. That's always my one regret. I wish I would have kept playing baseball.
Interesting. Okay. What position did you play in baseball?
I was a pitcher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm left-handed, so I just made it different.
How fast could you throw?
Honestly, I don't even remember, but I feel like I had a nice fastball in sixth grade. Like, I feel like it was good.
Awesome. Love to hear that. We haven't heard baseball yet. It's mostly been like basketball, and I think there was like a rugby or something like that. But that's cool, man. Love it. Okay, so who's your baseball team then?
It has to be the Rangers. They suck, but it's the Rangers.
Because it can't be the Astros, right?
No, it can't be. It can't be.
Good. I was worried there for a second. When I asked that question, I was like, oh man, it better not be the Astros. So,
Never.
okay. So, all right. So so then who's your NFL team?
Cowboys.
Okay, Cowboys. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I figured. Okay, so Cowboys and Rangers. All right. So now kind of a question more geared towards Utah. Which uniform, and it can be any uniform that they've worn ever. It doesn't have to just be this season, but which uniform is your favorite for the Utes?
Ooh, those gray ones against Oregon last year. Those are tough.
That's interesting. A lot of guys have said those, and they're super cool. And I love a military tribute. Don't get me wrong. I just my kind of like not issue with them necessarily. That's a pretty heavy word, but like the thing with those is I'm like they don't have school colors on them. Like
Yeah.
that's for me. I'm like okay, it's just this random gray. Like it's cool, but I'm like I don't know. For me, I got to go red or white or black, just school colors. Anyways, I'll let you continue. So you said the gray ones. Is there another uniform that you like?
Yeah, if it wasn't those, I would definitely go with the Rose Bowl uniforms.
Ooh, there you go. Those are good ones. Those are definitely like a top three for sure.
I'm thinking one more. I don't think. What do we wear this year?
You guys had some nice unis last week against UCLA. I like those helmets.
The white with the black on the bottom.
Yeah, and the new black helmets. Those are nice.
At first, I didn't like those, and then I saw like some pictures came out. I saw like Chris in his uniform. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, those are nice.
Those are nice for sure. Okay, last question for you. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you want to go?
I've gotten this question so many times in my entire life. I've never been able to. I gotta think though. Anywhere. I've never been to Paris, and I feel like I want to see the Eiffel Tower. Like,
there you
I
go.
feel like it'd be something cool to see.
Okay, so France. You do France.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Once you make it to the NFL and you got an off season, you can go to France and take your mom with you. Okay. Okay. Well, folks, that's all the time we got. That's Utah freshman Chase Kennedy. Chase, it's been awesome to talk with you. We're really excited for Chase. He's recently joined our squad at Fan Nation All Utes. Be on the lookout for Chase's apparel collection that will be coming very soon at allutefans.com. You guys can check it out right now as well for other collections, including other players like Bryson Barnes, Devon Bailey, Clark Phillips, a lot of other really awesome players. So feel free to check that out. A lot more coming out there. Also, feel free to check out all of our content at si.com/college/Utah to read all about Chase and the rest of the team. Chase, it was a lot of fun. We look forward to having you on again.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.